Okay, so hello, tribe family. I am super excited today because I'm sitting with an old friend of mine and client, Jacqueline Biddle. Welcome.
Hello.
So I worked with Jacqueline. We still both can't really figure it out when it was. We're thinking a couple years ago,
Yep.
and Jacqueline came to me for blood and got an impromptu counseling session at the same time. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit about some of Jacqueline's successes. So first of all, Jacqueline, so grateful you're here today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
And like tell our audience a little bit about why you came and what was going on with you in your life or in your health or all of the above.
Well, why I came in was because I was really curious to know more about nutrition in general. It's an area I've always had different issues with, especially with digestion. So when I saw the advertisement outside of the store for the blood analysis, I said, "Oh, this could be interesting to see. Really like the foundation of like what am I putting in my body? What's it doing to me?" So I came in for that, and then Susan had all kinds of things to tell me about what I was eating. And we did some muscle testing to see things that I would prefer in comparison to other things. And then, like was mentioned, a little impromptu counseling session, which was very unexpected, but I would like to say that I definitely have enjoyed the benefits of that all those years ago.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. Usually, if something comes up in my body or I can feel it in my body in your body, then I will definitely say something. But tell them like what health. So what health you were saying digestion.
Hmm.
You were getting some bloating with that.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it's just like you saying that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't get that anymore. I think I've just really, and starting with what you were able to tell me, getting in touch with what's good for me. And I know we mentioned earlier, even something funny like appreciating foods that are a little bit spicier or have that sort of warmth to it. Um, I think we talked about cinnamon, we talked about ginger, things like that, and how having like a warmer breakfast, and then avoiding caffeine at certain times would all be beneficial to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I remember I was telling you to eat less raw food, right?
Yes.
How did you feel with that? How did that go down? Like what was your response and what was the result like in your body when you did that?
It's funny because, everyone always thinks raw food, that's the way to go.
Mhm.
But for me, I think it was just hard to digest. And since then, I'd say, like having raw like carrots, broccoli, like the kind of typical things, just lightly steaming things and then adding flavors as you like. It's a world of difference. It's the same product, but you're just simply handling it differently. So I would say that was a big one for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's so funny because like with every person, it can be very different.
Hmm.
So for anybody watching too, it's like yeah, it can be for one person they might need raw food and for someone else, for Jacqueline it was like definitely not. And
Definitely not.
definitely not. And she told me she's been eating soup for breakfast still.
That's the way to go. Honestly, at least 3, 4 times a week.
That's amazing.
Great way to start the day.
Yeah. And you found like you don't have any bloating since, or you feel much better?
No. Yeah, like definitely, you have those times I find going out to a restaurant or doing stuff with friends, that's when it will get me because you're eating stuff that you probably wouldn't if you were just by yourself, creating the food for yourself kind of thing. But no, when I'm in control of it, no problem.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And how did you find it was for you going off the coffee and like what did you used to how many did you drink before? Where are you at now? And what's been the difference in your body from that?
That my whole life. Um, I've always been a black tea drinker from a very young age, thanks to my parents. Like, just regular orange pekoe tea once or twice a day. And then probably a year or two before I met you, I was on an exchange in Europe, and I was introduced to the wonderful world of coffee. And then I found I would need it every day, and if I didn't have it, I have a headache. And I realized that maybe I should change it up a bit. So when I finally did bring out the coffee from my routine, I noticed I wasn't as anxious. I didn't have these kind of like almost brain buzzes, really. And I just hydrated more because I feel like having that coffee, I wasn't supplementing it with the proper hydration after. So
Um,
now I have coffee like 3 times a month as a treat. So obviously, the flavor is great. But I just have to be sure if I am going to drink coffee that I have a lot of water after.
yes, that's right. Because I think you were saying I was reading your report, you were getting headaches
Hmm.
and this kind of thing. And we figured it out. You figured out that we figured out is more the water. Was it no? What was it for you? It was
Sugar, a lot of sugar, and then I think
sugar.
coffee too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you found like after you've reduced that, your headaches have gone away a little bit more, or?
Oh, absolutely. Because I feel like in the nature of how I was like kind of addicted to the coffee, and the coffee would get rid of the headache. Um, and then a similar way with the sugar, it was like I would have too much sugar, and then I would get a headache anyway. So both of those, reducing those a lot and being really in tune with, oh, like these things in large quantities are not good for me, and simply replenishing that with more hydration, and you begin not to crave those things anymore.
That's amazing. Because yeah, for sure. I think I remember what you said. You came in, you had a lot of sugar cravings at the time.
Oh god, it was stupid, like thinking back to how much sugar I used to eat and just processed crap. Don't get me wrong, you're always gonna eat that stuff at some point, but not as much as I used to. Much more in control.
Much more balanced. Even though honey crullers are really good sometimes.
And for me, it was chocolate. Oh yeah, like chocolate bars and just the processed stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And what were you dealing with so tell us a little bit about emotionally. I want to make sure, first of all, I want to make sure our connection. There we go. Yeah, it's feeling like better. It was going a
Stable.
little off. Um, how do you feel with like the emotional piece? Tell the audience like what came up for you, what we worked on, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, definitely in session. As I said, I wasn't expecting this, and sort of a nutrition appointment. But Susan caught on right away to something, probably some energy I was giving off. And she reminded me or no, you prompted something about speaking to your inner child. Have you spoken to your inner child lately? I didn't really know what you were talking about. And then the one word you said that totally struck me, and honestly to this day, if I hear it or if I say it aloud, I can still feel it. And it's the word sweetheart. And that was it's like the gateway into speaking to yourself in a nice way. And I feel like there's a lot of people have a lot of negative self-talk, and that just using that one word is a great way to move and push past that. So when you said that, and you said, pretend you're holding like an infant baby, like close to your chest, like it's warm, and you love this child, you're speaking to this child, and it's you. Like that's how you should speak to yourself. So I remember you doing this, and at first I was really uncomfortable with it, and even time after that I was too. But it's something I slowly worked up to, and I just, I showed up for myself when I needed to eventually in time, knowing that these answers of emotional insecurity and things like that, it's all in you. And that was the tool that kind of got me there, and just saying sweetheart and checking in, tuning in to see what I really needed.
That's amazing. Right? That's amazing.
Yeah, totally, it's a great tool.
I just want to commend you too, because I just feel like kudos to you, because Jacqueline and I, we didn't have a ton of sessions. We had just like one magnetic session.
Yeah.
And she just like took it and ran with it. This inner child work, and said that, had texted me like, I don't know, a week or two, maybe a month ago or whatever, whenever we did, and was like, this really impacted my life, which is like, it's amazing that you just like grabbed hold of it. And
I think especially, you know, during these times when everyone's confined, not really doing their normal routine, I needed it again. You know, you're cut off from people socially. You don't have your routine, so it's a good time to check in and just see how you're doing. So I thought of it, and I realized, wow, when I first learned this, I thought it was some crazy idea that didn't really make sense to me, but when I needed it most, it came back in my mind, and it's something I've really stuck to, and I've told people about too.
that's so funny. Well, it's so hard because we never see ourselves as like two different people.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
We just see ourselves as this one person. We don't see ourselves as like, we have this mind that's telling ourselves things, like that's telling this, our inner self, something. It's like there's two of us. Right. So it's so hard. And I know I think with yours, it was like around perfectionism.
Yes.
Being hard on yourself that way, which I think pretty much like our entire culture has a problem with.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like, you know, I'm not enough. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I should be more successful. I should be more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, what
Kind
was
of abolishing that.
What did you say?
Abolishing that sort of idea of perfectionism, and also abolishing the image of what you think should be, and just, you know, putting these things aside and coming in touch with what's there, like what's innately there in you.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of you
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you for doing the work and like being so coachable. And that's really it. It's like you're just so easy. You're so easy. Especially it's hard when you bring up new things to somebody and you just kind of took it in. I was just like, props.
Thank you. Well, you know what? Teachers make good students, so.
What would you say for anyone that was thinking of, you know, has any issues, like even with this COVID-19 thing, or is having anxiety or health issues? What would you say to them after working with me? And
I would say from first the nutritional perspective, I know we've talked about this before, Susan, but just how sometimes people think that these alternative medicines, and looking at something as simple as food, what you're putting in your body, is not going to be the answer to your issues, when I feel like a lot of the times it really can be. So give it a chance, you know, whether that is looking at your blood work more in depth, seeing what sort of things you need to better fuel your body. And secondly, on the more emotional side of things, and especially during this time when everyone feels a little, you know, shaken up because the routine is so different, and this is a globally felt thing, that you can be as anxious as you have been in your entire life, but you have to realize that everything going on outside, like, you can't control it, but you can control how you can't control how you feel, but you can control how you sort of manage what's going on, what comes up. And I feel like this tool of checking in with yourself, speaking to your inner self, it's the pathway to lead to like a more happier, better self, really, at the end of the day.
I love it. Oh yeah, what did you see? I forget. I just realized, I remember you sending me the email, and you said you saw something in your blood. Was it you that was like, you could tell that I was drinking wine? Was it you?
Yeah. Yes, that was me. Yes. Okay, because you take the prick of blood, right?
Yeah.
And you have it on this, I think it was a screen or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then you do a close up on the microscope, and there were some cells that looked very kind of like, or like clouds, like they're all kind of warped. And you said,
You're
oh,
having a bad day.
that is just, I had probably had, I don't know, a few glasses of wine the night before. It was definitely the summer. It was probably the weekend, who knows, but I definitely had some wine, and you could tell, and I thought that was hilarious.
You can't hide anything, people. I will know. Well, that's so great. I wanted to say, so thank you once again for
My
coming.
pleasure.
And it's so great. It's so great you taking the time out. I really think it makes a difference in people's lives, just hearing more and more success stories, because it just makes them realize, yeah, like healing is possible. Because sometimes when we're in the midst of it, it feels sometimes like it's hopeless, right?
And you have to latch on to other people and things to kind of fix it, but it really starts like right here.
Yes. Like we were just talking about Jacqueline, how she's come such a long way. I just got to bring this to the group because I think it's important, about her being in a toxic relationship before and now, and never feeling like she could be alone. But now she has just been in her own apartment for 2 weeks, right?
More than that, it's been like 7 now.
7 weeks by herself and is loving it.
Loving it. I would be so upset to have to share this space with someone right now. Like, it's been so great. And it's crazy. Most people would think, oh, why would you want to be alone for so long? No, like I feel like in a week's time, just gotten into my own kind of routine and it's easier to check in with yourself. It's great. Being alone, it's liberating. It's liberating.
Liberating.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Hence the name.
That's so good. Yeah, that is amazing. I think so many viewers need to hear that, because it's just like we can always focus on what we don't have. Like we don't have this relationship, we don't have this. And the truth is we really just don't have a relationship with ourselves. And
True.
that's what that's what this work is all about.
Yep.
So thank you.
No, thank you.
Such a pleasure. And we'll be chatting soon.
Okay.
I love you.
Lots of love.
Lots of love. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.